What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today I'm going to show you a super easy way to learn the 4 most common modes. Learning modes can be a little tough in the beginning. If you're an intermediate player or you're early and new to improvisation and you're trying to process all of that information, it can be really tough to figure out which mode is which and how you should think about it, because there are scale degrees that are changing all over the place, and there are chord symbols that could work for a couple different modes, so it can be really confusing. Today, I'm going to help clarify how to learn your modes and how to organize them. When it comes to learning music, if you have things organized properly, the way you're learning them and the way you kind of organize the way you think about them, it's way easier to use what you are learning. So if you have this scale over here, and this scale over here, and this scale over here, and this scale over here, when you need to pull it out and use it in an improv situation, it's going to be really tough. But if you have them stacked up and you can pull them out really easily because you know how they're all connected, it will make life a whole lot easier. So in this video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to learn and organize the 4 most common modes. So let's start with the most common mode, which is the major scale, and the modal name for that is Aeolian. Of course, we never call it Ionian, but your major scale is a mode based on the 1st degree of your major scale. So we're going to do all of these examples in the key of G on the alto sax. So the major scale, we don't really need to think about much because it's just a major scale. And if you're watching a video on modes, I'm assuming you already know your major scales. But this is a major scale, a G major scale. Now, the way I like to think about these modes is how can I change one note and turn it into a different scale? The way I can do that is go from my major scale into a mixolydian scale. So the mixolydian scale is based on the 5th degree of the major scale. Now, that's just where the mode comes from. That's not how we really think of modes. When we think about what a mixolydian scale is, we think about a major scale with a flat 7. Now, that scale does come from the 5th degree of the major scale that it's related to, but that's not how we think of a mixolydian scale. We just think of it as a major scale with a flat 7. So if we are talking about the G mixolydian scale, we would think about a G major scale. We're going to make one change and turn that into a G mixolydian scale by flatting the 7. So we're going to turn the F sharp into an F natural. Now I'm going to play those 2 scales back to back, major, which is Ionian, and mixolydian, and you're going to hear that the only thing that I'm going to change is that F sharp. So when we're thinking about that scale, the mixolydian scale, if we think about just changing that one note, it makes it way easier to figure out and way easier to plug it in to whatever G chord or G type of G scale that we want to play. The next mode that we're going to learn and organize is the Dorian minor mode. It's just the Dorian mode, but I always call it Dorian minor. I like to add that minor on there. So the Dorian mode comes from the 2nd degree of the major scale, and that gives us a flat 3rd and a flat 7th. Now, if you remember, just a couple seconds ago, we talked about the mixolydian scale having a flat 7. So the only difference between the Dorian and the mixolydian scale is the Dorian also flats the 3rd. So we went from everything is normal in the major scale, we flatted the 7 for the mixolydian, and in the Dorian minor, we flat the 3rd and the 7th. So that would sound like this. So if we start off with major, everything is normal. Then we make one change to turn it into mixolydian. We change the 7th, which is an F sharp, down a half step to an F natural. And if you want to change that scale into the next mode, the Dorian mode, we would take that scale and make one change, which is the 3rd. We're going to change the 3rd, which is a B, down to a B flat. That'll give us the flat 3rd and the flat 7th that we already had with the mixolydian. So the way I'm organizing these scales is I'm making one change at a time. For major, it's all regular. For mixolydian, flat 7. For Dorian, flat 7, add the flat 3. See how that's all working? It's really easy to keep track of them that way. Before I continue with this tutorial, I'm assuming if you're watching this video that you are trying to learn your scales and your modes. That means you're probably starting your path into improvisation and trying to figure all that out. If that is the case, I would like to invite you to check out my sax school, the Scott Paddock Sax School. In my sax school, I take you step by step through learning scales, all the scales we're talking about today, through learning improvisation, ad-libbing, jazz style, all the basics of becoming a better saxophone player. The school is made up of online membership courses. You pay one price for everything in the school, and all of the lessons, all of the videos, all the tutorials are available 24 hours a day, every day of the week, every day of the year. So you can work on it whenever you want, as often as you want, at your own pace. So if you want to add some structure into your practice routine and get better at playing the saxophone a lot faster, check out the Scott Paddock Sax School. I've got it all set up so it's step by step. It guides you along a pathway, and you'll know exactly what to practice, how to practice it, and what to practice next. Let's jump back into the tutorial and learn this last mode. The last mode is also a minor mode, and it is called Aeolian, and it is based on the 6th degree of the major scale. So the thing about Aeolian is it's not called Aeolian very often. It's called natural minor. So your natural minor scale is also your Aeolian scale. It's two names for the same scale. Now, it is also a minor scale, so we just learned the Dorian minor scale, and the next scale we're going to learn is the natural minor scale. The thing that's confusing about minor scales is that there are a lot of them. So there's a bunch of varieties and flavors of minor scales. Your two most common are the Dorian and the natural minor, the ones we're learning today. But for this tutorial, we're going to learn the difference between Dorian minor and natural minor, and it's going to be really easy just to plug it in and play. So the natural minor scale is just like the Dorian minor scale. So we have a flat third and a flat seventh, and the one change that we're going to make is a flat sixth. So in the key of G, that would be G, A, B, C, D, E. So we're going to change that E down to E flat. So the natural minor scale has a flat third, a flat sixth, and a flat seventh. To learn these four modes, all we did was make one change between each scale. So we started off with major. Those are all just your normal notes in the major scale. Then we changed the seventh. We lowered the seventh for the mixolydian. Then for the Dorian minor, we lowered the third and the seventh. And then for the natural minor, we lowered the third, sixth, and seventh. So we just made one change at a time. So this is your G major. This is G mixolydian, so we're just going to flat the 7. This is G Dorian minor, so we're going to add a flat third to our flat 7th. And this is natural minor. We're going to add a flat 6th to our flat 3rd and flat 7th. So if you organize your modes like that, it's way easier to pull them out when you need it because you're just making one change from scale to scale. And when you practice these four modes like that in that order, it's going to make it really easy to learn it and figure out how to switch each one of these notes in and out that needs to be altered to fit the correct mode. And that is the super easy method for learning your four most common modes. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you now understand the four most common modes, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share the video with your friends. And if you like the way I organize this information and teach musical concepts, check out the Scott Paddock Sax School. Thanks a lot.